I got a darn funeral view as a visitor.
All right, so,
that I need to do.
entertain a motion to come out of executive session by Mr. Bishop,
Second.
second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. No action was taken in executive session. Mr. Slay, we're still under other, under L.
Yes, sir. I need you guys to act on adopting a resolution that resets our public hearing in connection with the tax increment financing plan for Orleans Way.
Motion.
Other related.
We already got a motion by Mr. Bishop,
Second.
second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign.
Change all that?
Because the publication did not get published in the newspaper.
Appropriate.
Bishop and then Calhoun.
Okay.
Public hearing.
All right, let's
Redo
go.
the public hearing.
All right, so item M.
Item M is to publish the
So
notice
All right.
in the newspaper.
All right, so we got a motion by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Gaines. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. So item N,
Yes.
N,
Please.
Mr. Slay.
Item N is gonna be, quick, I think, but now that we are officially in the program for medical marijuana, it is time for us to initiate discussions of our zoning and planning considerations.
Can we do that at our next one?
We can. I have Ms. Gray Oots here from CMPDD, ready to go to discuss with you just a very
She's
Hey,
right there
and
behind
she's
you.
right behind you.
remarks.
Yep.
And since Ms. Gray is here, I did not want her to walk away thinking that she was not appreciated.
Ray, I'm sorry.
And that her time was not valuable. And so I am prepared, along with Ms. Oots, we are prepared to do whatever the board wishes to do today. The board would like to move this discussion to June 2. It's welcome to do so, but I did not want you guys to think we were not working.
I only
in that
think she's
direction.
here, been sitting here for 4.5
I'm
hours.
not gonna make her have to come back. I
She's
mean,
been sitting here 4.5 hours.
All right.
But she's had a
We're
good
gonna
time.
be here for, we got the next.
I got a funeral visitation I gotta go to. I'm about to leave.
So,
Miss Gray?
So.
Can
so
we do
this
a
will be
synopsis
our
and then come back?
That's what I was like
Let's
saying.
kind of go over the
Yeah.
outside edges and then let us have a little time to think. And that way we get to see you twice.
That sounds good.
So she's gonna confine her remarks.
Hey, I figured y'all all done gone to work after all this.
Hey, Mike Ward, I need 10 donuts in the back there, you know?
They were in the parking lot.
I don't doubt it, sure. All right, Miss Gray, take the floor.
All right. Very good.
We're gonna hold you to 1 hour.
It will not take that long. I've got a puppy that's waiting on me.
All right.
But happy to come back, so I'm gonna give y'all an overview of what we're looking at, kind of what your options are. Y'all think it over, and we'll come back and discuss in greater detail. But essentially, you have medical cannabis establishments that now are gonna be allowed in the county, and it's up to you, per state code, to decide how you're gonna regulate those, from a land use and zoning perspective. They gave us some indication in the code section as to how you are to regulate certain uses, but not all establishments. I can go through the whole list, don't know how familiar you are with all of them, but research and testing, we're not really given a whole lot of direction.
they
Dispensaries.
can go anywhere.
Right. Dispensaries need to be located somewhere in a commercial district. Cultivation and processing, state code recommend, or says, ag or industrial. And as a conditional use, it actually uses the word variance, and it should be a conditional use, but in a commercial zone. Disposal and transportation can go anywhere, we're not giving guidance on those. That's your list of.
What is disposal?
Disposal is the disposal of plants or product that does not meet the testing requirements. It may be too potent, not potent enough, expired, et cetera, et cetera. It is a disposal process.
There's a defined method, Steve. We don't regulate the method because the state is.
I remember when they made us quit burning it. You know, really.
Yeah, right. So
So-
we'll be in the business of telling these disposal outfits where they can be located.
They have to burn or bury it.
No, you can't burn it.
The state is regulating the method
I
of
don't know.
disposal. We don't get to.
Well, you can get 30 or 40 law enforcement guys around there to
The
help.
thing about it is there's not gonna be any, what's they disposing of is not the flower itself, it's mainly the stem and the stalk. The process would be, if it's too hot, they can mix it with another batch to temper it down. But it will be tested, but the disposal mainly is the trimming part.
Unusable agricultural output.
So those are the items that we have before us, the items that you, need to consider how we want to revise zoning to address those. Kind of general conversations that have been had, on the key points are dispensaries located in commercial districts. Would highly recommend treating those very similar to a similar use. These are gonna be fully enclosed, no drive-throughs, no drive-up service. You must have a card to be able to go into the dispensary. So it's not gonna be like a retail pharmacy where anybody can go in off the street and access it. It is gonna have some sort of control. The state also regulates distance between them, distance between protected uses of church, schools, and childcare. So you need to look at your commercial zones and decide where do these best fit. To me, it sounds a lot like a liquor store in terms of it's got an age restriction, it's got a distance restriction. You're not gonna take a 7-year-old in, those type things.
Can we
Currently-
set a number that we're gonna approve in the county? Which it wouldn't have an effect, I guess, on cities that are opted in, but,
We can look at that, Steve.
Okay.
I think you probably don't want to set a number. You want to have a sense of compatibility, and you want to have the ability to say, for that spot right there, 2 is too many. So what you'll want to do this sort of like we did with the liquor store consideration up there, the Exxon that was on Spillway, if you're calling.
yeah.
We looked at the PRV situation, by the way, that's another factor here. PRV is gonna be able to regulate themselves. And so we may see that in that area right there, you got a saturation point, and that's how we rejected the consideration that liquor stores, too many in a close confined space. Keep in mind, the state is already regulating distances.
1,500 feet, I
Yeah,
think,
you don't have
is
to address that because the state's already
Yeah.
done that in the law.
from door to door.
So that's an important consideration. Compatibility is gonna always be on the table. I think our initial thought on dispensaries was we want them in C3 and we want them as a conditional use. So that's the big picture perspective for you guys is they need to be in C3 and they need to be a conditional use. If you look at our zoning map, and we already have, and you draw circles around churches,
Yeah.
schools, daycares, if you just overlay on our map, what you'll find is that there are very few places where we have C3 that's not within that confined circle, too close to something that's a prohibited use. That's not you. That's the state saying you can't be any closer than that.
Can you send us those maps to look
Yeah,
at?
we can put together, they're kind of hard, the maps as designed were very, I'll call them very detailed. It's because they not only overlaid a ring that showed the distance that the state allows, they also overlaid a ring, what if one of these prohibited uses gives a waiver and says, I'm okay, you have to have a different ring. So you go from 1,000 feet to 500 feet. So there's multiple rings on it. My concern, Daniel, is that we send you that work product and you go, what am I looking at? What we really need to do is, on the second, we need to be able to put this up on the board and show you how to read it and then give you that.
Okay.
All right, if y'all favor us with bringing the maps together, it's hard to get them sufficiently large enough to where you get, I can't even show you your whole district because the detail has to be narrowed down so far. You're gonna need multiple maps just to cover.
Well, I guess my area is not really what's covered, but the area that's not covered.
Yeah.
So I don't really need all the circles. I just need all the areas that's not inside the circle.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? That might be an easier look at.
Industrial or.
Yeah, so I mean,
Honestly,
Or C3.
there are more prohibited circles than there are open spots.
so and I guess that's what I'm saying. The easier thing to do is just show me the areas where they could go
Right.
that meet the criteria.
Here's your big picture. Dispensaries need to go in C3 conditional use. Your production facilities need to be in ag and industrial. And that's because, that they need to have plenty of room, they need to have plenty of space, and they have to have three-phase power. So there may be some spots, some very few limited spots where a production facility could go in a commercial. But if it's gonna go in a commercial, it needs to be C3, and it needs to be conditional use.
Okay.
Everything, I think I can safely say this, everything we're talking about that's a component part of the medical cannabis industry, for Rankin County's purposes, it needs to be a conditional use. Wherever it goes,
right.
it's gonna be a conditional use.
I agree.
All right? That gives you the control to establish on a case-by-case basis where it's compatible or where it's not.
Okay.
So that's kind of
All
the
right.
big picture perspective. And what y'all need, I think, is to be comfortable that we sort of kind of have an idea of where these things could possibly go, because they have adequate power, they have adequate access, and they are properly zoned already. If we can show y'all that, and what it comes down to is there may be 12 total spots
Right,
in the entire county
right,
where a production could go, you need to know where those 12 are.
okay,
If there's 15 potential C3 commercial where a dispensary could go because it's got an open opportunity and there's not a prohibited use that's too close, y'all need to know where those are. So I think that's where we're headed, and thankfully Gray and Dave have already put together maps that we're still trying to make sure, we got some work to do to fine tune and make sure we're not telling y'all something that we can't substantiate. So on June 2, your work session will have a more detailed presentation that has maps that y'all can look at.
we'll have more time.
Yeah.
We
Does
won't put
anybody
you
have
through all
any
this.
problem? This is where we needed your help today. Does anybody have a problem with us saying we want it to be a conditional use? We want it to be located in ag, industrial, or C3 commercial. C2 is off the table.
No, yeah, that's good.
You good with
Hey,
that?
hey, and I want to add one thing to that. I want to just look at the issue of the overlay district. Just want to look at that
So
conversation.
that's
That's
C2.
probably gonna be our only place we could put one.
Almost all of that is C2.
You think?
If you say
Well, as
right
far
now,
as distribution
There's
goes,
only a couple spots.
that's what I'm saying.
almost all of that is C2.
That's what I'm saying. That won't even
Almost all of it. Just
almost.
so happens there's a C3 sitting over there that would've had a billboard.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, we'll come back with maps
Maps.
and maybe look at making them interactive so we can really drill down.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, thank you for your patience,
Thank you.
Greg.
Sorry for the.
That's okay.
Bless you, Greg. You
I
are
really think it's be a moot point. I don't think we're gonna have as far as.
There hadn't been any kind of reach out about it.
Thank you, Greg.
Right.
All right. Mr. Slade's finally completed his area. Well done, Mr. Slade. Mr. Bishop, you want to? I know I'm coming to you, Mr. Hicks. Hang on. I want to go ahead and
Let him get set up,
You wanna-
and we'll
All
cover
right.
my items.
Jay. You want to
Okay.
introduce who we got out here?
Yeah, David's here with US Next, and he came to do a demo for the board so everybody can see their wares and what they do for other counties in the state of Mississippi.
Dave, what do you need? Tell me what you need to make you work.
Electrical outlet.
Yeah, you go ahead. You work. You do what you got to do. Mr. Hicks, while he's doing that,
We have a drop down here if you want to use it, you know?
It would.
Okay, all right.
hey, let me ask you: is it gonna bother you if we go ahead and move on while you're setting up? You good? I can cover a couple things while you're setting up.
Oh, yeah.
You just tell me when you're ready to go. All right. No, you're good, Mr. Hicks. Item 10.
All right. Item A is just request approval to set our hazardous waste collection day for June the 4th
All right.
and publish the notice.
Okay. Board, wish to entertain a
To
motion.
move.
Motion by Mr. Morrison. Second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Item B.
Item B is the authority to issue a check for the refund to Constable Wyndham for his overpaid contribution to PERS.
All right.
Most approved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Morrison. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gaines. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with like sign. Item C, Mr. Hicks.
Item C is the approval of our final pay application on our community services renovation, which is complete. We're moved in, mostly. It's in the amount of $29,626.75.
Hey, when are we gonna do, picture taking?
We're working on setting that up.
Okay, alright.
No?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bishop. Second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion?
Wait, I just have a question. Are y'all happy with everything?
Oh, yes, it's very nice, thank you, we're loving it.
Good deal.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with like sign. Bishop's the only one that approved it. Congratulations, Bishop. All right. All right, anything else under additional business, Mr. Slay, while he's working? A quick additional business, if it's quick.
So there was, I believe Steve brought up that we need to talk about the multi-purpose pavilion, but I don't know exactly what that was about. So we had that reserved.
Was that Harrison?
No, yeah, Mike Harrison probably has, I don't know, maybe the sheriff. I've been getting some emails and texts this week already that there's a big show, and I suspected it's not even on our campus.
Barrel racing over at the
Is it
Coliseum.
at the Coliseum? And
Steve,
they're-
that's at the Coliseum.
Well, they overbooked and they want to use our facility.
Right, but what, we've done this for the last 4 years for this show. And every time we do it, we make accommodations for them,
Uh-huh.
and they never show up. And we've asked them just to go ahead and book the arena or book the show, the stalls that they need,
Yeah.
but they won't do it up front. So that's the, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Who are y'all talking to?
The guy that's putting on the show.
What is it that how far do we go out of our way?
I mean, I don't mind.
We've gone out of our way for the last 4 years.
I mean, what do you have to do?
Well, I mean, we've tried to accommodate, move our shows around and push things around for these people.
Other people don't use those spaces.
And-
Those we're holding.
And we're holding them, and we just basically told him to rent the stalls that he needed. And he didn't want to pay the money up front to rent the stalls.
That conversation was this year.
That
So I can say
conversation
that
was the other
you-
day.
Somebody.
The other day is when they had that conversation.
Matter of fact, I told him the other day, don't call us again because it's been going on for the last 4 years.
All right,
Dang.
okay, that's all. I'm just gonna tell them that we've been in conversation, we've tried to make it happen, but somebody's gotta execute on the other end.
Yes, sir.
He even asked to give money up front to, a deposit or something to withhold, and he won't do that.
Who is he?
I think they were
It's
wanting
a
to rank.
guy out of Tennessee named Ralph Feathers.
So he's getting people from here to
Yeah.
contact me, and like they don't have no place to keep the horse, but hell,
He told us.
it ain't but 10 miles over there.
He told us the other day that they had enough room. He
Okay.
come down here, looked at the facility again, like he done for the last 4 years. We told him what stalls was. You
Yeah.
know, He needed 100 stalls, we told him what that would be up front. We needed a deposit up front.
Yeah,
He didn't
Okay.
want to do that.
that's
He
good.
just wants us to take the people that's left over at our convenience, whether it's 1 or 10. And
Yeah.
We've done that in the past, and we ain't never had those 3 people show up. So, don't have that big of an overflow.
All right. I'm gonna tell them if they want them, they need to book them and pay for them before their show starts.
Yeah, that way they got them locked down.
And
Good response.
All right, Mr. David. Hang on, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Slay.
Quickly, 2 items.
Yeah.
Discussion on that moratorium that I mentioned. Can I get you guys to add this, please? Discussion, potential action on the moratorium in relation to billboards on Old Fannin.
All right, so, entertain a motion. I'll make that motion to add it to the
Yeah.
agenda.
Second.
Second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. So that,
President, I think you suggested maybe a 30-day moratorium just to get us to the work session, which I think is perfect.
I think so.
Okay.
This
Yes.
would
Yep.
simply be a temporary
Yeah.
moratorium on receiving or acting on any consideration of an additional billboard or conditional use item related to a billboard on Old Fannin. Just a
Okay.
short 30-day from today
okay.
temporary moratorium.
All right, I'll make
tell
that
me,
motion.
yeah, okay, second, but I
Second by
want,
Mr. Gaines. Discussion?
yes. from what it's not my district and I'm not that familiar, but I have seen the billboards. Man, that is almost, if it was having to do with a contract, somebody trying to be bid rigging
Yeah.
or
Interference.
collusion or, I mean,
Tortious interference.
we've got bam, 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 and then, oh, you shouldn't have, get behind us, public, and it's the
Yeah.
opponent.
Right.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is just,
The-
And the reason behind it,
To my knowledge,
Just what you say.
the public
Yeah.
was not involved in
Right.
starting up the controversy.
Yeah.
This was
Right.
Right.
this was a driven controversy.
By Lamar.
But what they did do was, though, they did bring up the issues of billboards for the people in the reservoir area. And they
Yes.
brought that issue up. And overwhelmingly, have I heard from those guys saying, we just don't want billboards at all.
Right.
We just don't want any of them down there on that side. So what they did was they energized the public to really voice their concerns of the existing billboards that were there.
Right.
You know, so that's the big issue that's there. And it's, when I say it's strong, I mean, it's,
I'll definitely say, man, if we're not gonna do this one at this location, I'm good with taking them all down.
yeah, me too.
But I'm still on board with letting this one go. But, so, I mean, I think he would rather move forward today, but you got up there and said, he said he was withdrawing it. He's sitting over there texting me, I don't wanna do that, but he was in a
when I
position
talked to him Friday, he told me he'd withdraw it. So
Yeah.
All right.
that's what
He told-
when I talked to him.
I heard, he said he'd love to have one.
Well, y'all can vote it in.
It's kinda
I'm
like
just
a
telling
Butch
you.
deal now.
I mean, I'm just
No,
telling you.
no, I mean, I said,
No, I'm
it's
just
kinda
telling
like a
you.
Butch thing, you know, you're looking back and forth, but no.
Well, I mean, when I talked to
Just
him,
saying.
You
What he
said though that it would, we would have to pay them basically to get rid of them
So
at
an
this point.
elimination period would be on the table. I would insist that you guys vote to eliminate all billboards on Old Fannin within the RCD, and that you provide for a period of time, that's subject to discussion, but a period of time within which the board has to come down. They can leave them in place for a period of time. Jay, what that does is it allows them to keep drawing funds.
it's paying
from
himself,
money.
basically,
Right.
making their own money
They're
for a
making
year,
money
2 years,
for
whatever
a
it is.
short period of time, and it eliminates the need for us to pay them on the front end and take it down.
Anybody else to put
Yeah.
anything up.
That's property interest.
Yeah.
That's a public taking.
I
Private property.
got a visitation I gotta go to. They
Alright,
miss-
did we make the
I got a road.
motion, vote on it
I
yet?
have no
Yeah,
idea.
y'all
Well, we made the motion. We're in discussion.
Alright,
So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
This is the moratorium vote. What this is. All in favor say aye. Any opposed with like sign.
So each of, this is the last item, that this gentleman who's been so patient,
Yeah.
just to move forward. So, the last item, this, I got this, I should have brought this up on May 2nd, I didn't. So that's my fault. We've got engineers working on ARPA projects, that's Wagner, that's Benchmark, that's, engineering service. They're all at work on your ARPA projects, and none of them has an approved agreement in place. I need you guys to approve the engineering agreements related to your ARPA projects. Approve them, subject to and conditioned on me and Keith being satisfied with Wayne.
All right, so that's
Are
something.
they
we got-
are they all the same?
no.
No, they're not the same.
Everyone's gonna be
One,
different.
the Wagner piece is a division responsibility for the hydraulics portion of your projects. Benchmark and engineering service are your construction design and oversight piece. So you have separated responsibilities.
So you're
But
talking
each-
about each individual project now, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Each project, as it comes
So
on, will
we
have
need
an
to know
agreement
their
associated.
numbers, right?
Yeah.
For all the other projects.
So we can get you that information, but yes.
Yeah, I
So we're
would
gonna
like
vote
to
on
know
it,
their numbers.
provided, yeah, all
It's
the-
contingent upon me and Keith being satisfied that the arrangements as you guys have understood them, which is subject, it's all subject to percentage-based
Right. But as
calculations.
far as I know, in my district, the only ones that have been assigned so far are
Vernon Jones, Oak Grove,
and Pearl.
and I think the Pearl one's
Well,
in
it was
the
already-
works, but
yeah.
yeah.
And-
Right.
and-
Mill Creek is in there.
Mill Creek.
Thomasville Road is stood up, and then we've got additional, we have Steve's project, which I can't remember if it
What
was,
midway,
I think it's
Sam,
Midway
what-
Bridge, and
What's
then
the, what are you
Jared.
calling one, District 1, what are y'all calling that?
Trying to remember which one's in the first list here. Is it Hickory Ridge?
You got Hickory Ridge and you got, well, now you're moving the Ehrlich Road one, shifting it around, so I don't know.
I think Ehrlich's still there, Jared, but we just got to supply as
You know, I'm gonna go get some crawfish.
Okay.
The Hickory Ridge one, I wanna talk about that. Look, I hate to run off, you've been here a long time. I have a funeral visitation that I thought it started 12:30, and, I'm gonna miss it if I don't go on now.
So I just need you guys to,
Yeah.
entertain a motion to approve your engineering
Well, so,
agreements.
motion to add it to the agenda.
Please.
So, motion to add it to the agenda by Mr. Bishop, second by myself. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with the like sign. So entertain a motion to approve by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with the like sign. Mr. David, my humble apology to you. I'm sorry. This has been normally by 10:30 or so, we get this thing moving and you've already been spoken and driving back to wherever you're from.
That's no
I
problem.
terribly apologize to you.
No problem.
So take over.
I'm David Crawford. I'm with US Next. We're headquartered in Jackson. I'm gonna be brief, but you feel free to grab the reins and slow me down. US Next is a Mississippi corporation. We're headquartered here in Mississippi. All of our employees are Mississippi residents and get a Mississippi W-2. We do have some contractors outside the state, but we are the largest web development firm in the state. About half the counties in the state are clients of ours. I'll go to the next screen there, and that just gives you a handful of the counties that are clients, and I'll show you a few of those. We also, the Department of Archives and History is a client of ours, the Department of, not Revenue, Department of, whatever the management department is, and the Forestry Commission. What's that? Yes, DFA, yes, thank you. And Forestry Commission. So my point is in
You
this.
come up right in front. This is our IT director. Grab your chair. Come
Oh,
on,
okay.
pull that chair around here. in
Yeah,
front.
yeah, come on. I need somebody to beat me up. Come on. There you go.
There you go.
My point is in saying that all these counties and cities are clients of ours, and the fact that these different state agencies are clients of ours, is our tires have been well kicked, okay? And so we've been in business for over 20 years, and we've got some employees that've been here all that time, that whole time. So anyway, I think it says something about our company, is we're not going anywhere. I mean, we're right here. We keep a very low profile. We don't advertise. We're, of course, the Supervisors Association is a client of ours. We are one of their preferred vendors or whatever, but typically at the association meeting you guys go to, we don't go. So like I said, we keep a pretty low profile. But our data center is located in what used to be the IBM building on I-55, there next to the Hilton. Let me show you just a few sites, and I mean literally a few, of your neighbors. Here's Madison County. They've been a client of ours probably for about 18 years, I would say. We do a lot for them. We do like every day in the middle of the night, I should say, their data that they collect in their Chancery Clerk's office, Circuit Clerk's office, and Tax Collector's office, all that is uploaded to a server in our data center. So the next day, somebody wants to look at their car tag renewal, they can look at it. Or they want to look at their deed that they filed the previous day, they can look at it. It's pretty much real time. It's not real time, but it's the previous day. Here is that Scott County? Yeah, Scott, another of your neighbors, Scott County. Theirs is, they've been a client of ours probably about 5 years, I would say. Theirs is much more low profile. It's pretty much for looks, I would say. But anyway, in their we built a pretty functional sheriff website for the sheriff there in Scott County. Here's one. I got to keep that quiet. Hines County. I don't. Another one of your neighbors. I got to keep that low profile there. But anyway, they've been a client of ours probably, I'd say probably 10, 12 years, something like that. Here is your county's current website.
Yep.
All right. Let me show you our vision for the county. And this is just something our graphic artist just roughed up. Notice it's a lot cleaner looking. It's not all cramped up together. one thing I'd like to point out is that right now, statistically, about half of the hits on your website probably are coming from your mobile device or from people's mobile devices. So when we start designing something or we start laying data out, we look at it not just from somebody sitting in their office behind a computer. What's it going to look like when they're on their treadmill in the morning? You know, what are they going to be able to read it? Are they going to be able to see it? Are they going to be able to function it? We look at it from the standpoint of how many hit taps does it take to get where they're going? You know, we try to minimize that where it's just, one.
Isn't there like a two-tap rule or policy general?
We do our best. That's right. I'm going to keep that to a minimum. All right. Any questions on that? I've got numbers here. If you guys want to, you guys ready to look at numbers?
Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to look at the menu.
All right, Mr. Attorney, I know you wanted, I got one for you. Okay. Now you can start. I may have given my black and white copy away. No, I didn't. Okay.
There was one thing, I know, there are several things we discussed at our last meeting. I think the sheriff, Paul, mentioned some things they wanted to see implemented, but what about, I mentioned to you, and you said y'all done it, off-site reservations, booking, our different areas we have, rooms for
Right.
rent.
Right.
You got something to show us?
Go to City of Flowood. I didn't find out till this morning that you wanted to see that, okay?
Okay.
But if you go to City of Flowood, they have the ability there to reserve functions. And you have to put down some amount, some deposits or whatever to make sure that you show up. And I did not have a chance this morning to go in there and really look at how we did that.
Reserve a facility?
Yes. Okay. And once again now, a website and these
Well, this doesn't
functionalities.
really do what I was wanting to do.
Okay.
What I was wanting us to do, be able to do it online. Like, I know from the past with them, you gotta show your, Flowood resident to be able to use their facility, so. But what I want is to be able to, someone come on and book it, or either show a calendar where it is available.
Does that not show a calendar? I think it does.
Where is it?
It's on their main menu.
I see, I clicked on, reserve facility, and
Janet says if you're Rankin County, you got to, prove before you can get on to see it.
Well, what we do is, like, for instance, you may say, well, that kind of gets what I want, but it doesn't get exactly. We program this to your specifications. And so if you say, well, I want it to look like this, or, the best way to do is to find, like we're building a car here. And the first question I have is, now, are we building a convertible? Are we building a SUV? Are we building a pickup truck? Find me something else you want, and you say, that's what I want it to look like. Then we start programming, okay? But I just need some guidance to tell me, okay, here's how I want it to look. That's how Flowood wanted it to look.
okay.
So we did Flowood's the way, they said they wanted to do it. We're working on one up in North Mississippi right now. And once again, it's just like, tell me how you want it to look, And it's not me, by the way, I'm not the project manager, but the smart people do that kind of stuff.
I say, yeah, this print show does it all, from what I can tell.
I think it's kind of busy personally.
Well, yeah, it's a whole bunch of options. What
Right.
if they cancel and don't show up? Well, you just have to come to board and get like we do now.
Well, in their case, they forfeit their money.
Okay.
But,
Well, this is
and that's the
something-
deterrent, is hopefully they put a deposit and then makes them show up.
Yeah.
But, but once again, I'm with any thoughts anyone has in terms of, well, within the bounds of the law,
All
obviously.
right, so can you go back to our website? You had that done there.
Up there?
No, go back. What would you see where, other than laying the menu out different, that you would change?
Well, obviously you see the, facility reservation, you see that button there.
Right.
Okay, and once again, the look, when you scroll on down here, you've got the calendar of events, and this is just our vision.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just, then we show it to you, show it to your staff and say, okay, beat it up, tell me what you wanna change and so forth like that. So, but the idea is just to make it cleaner looking.
Yeah.
And add the functionality. Now, if you go to the very last page of the proposal I gave you,
Yeah,
you know, I said what it was gonna cost to build the sign.
yes, sir.
12,000, right?
Well, if you want,
That's the basics of what's been talked to you about.
no, I don't have.
2,000.
12, is it?
Where we
It's
at?
1,500.
5,700.
5,700,
Then you
and
start
then
paying monthly
2,600. No, that's,
Yeah,
That's just it.
5,700 is to build the sites you've got now.
Yeah.
The functionality you've
Right.
got now. If you wanna add the sheriff's functions.
that's another 4,000,
That's right,
all right?
all right.
And
And then
then
add the facility reservation.
That's
it's
another
26.
26.
Change.
All that adds up to 12,000.
Does it? Okay.
All right, and then you'd have about $520 a month.
That's correct.
What is this,
That's a basic.
That's right.
what is this supplemental support, 3 hours a month, 330 a month, what is that?
What that does is if your staff has a question internally, or they, you know, you have the ability, it has a content management system where you can go in there. I say you, I mean your staff has the ability to go in there and change it anytime you want to. You can add this, delete that, add a new page, whatever. I mean, you got a blank check there. You can go in there and change any way you want to.
Right.
They're gonna hit obstacles. They're gonna hit things where they go like, well, I'm trying to make it do this, but it doesn't do that. Well, they can request a support ticket, make a phone call, whatever to us. And if you're on a maintenance agreement, we give you top priority. So anybody else that's waiting in line for help, we push them aside and we focus on you. All right? If you don't have that support agreement, then you're one of the ones waiting in line. So if you may call up and say, I need help on this, I can't figure out how to make this change, or I can't figure this out. If you don't have a support agreement, you know, we just put you, say, well, we'll get to you when we get to you, maybe a couple of days. That's just the way it is. I mean, now we've got some contracts with vendors that if you don't have a support contract, they won't talk to you at all, period. Even if I got a check in hand, you know, so like Cisco, you know, and so we will get to you, but it'll be when we can. If you have a support agreement, and that's a pretty low support agreement, like Taylor Machine Works up in Louisville, they do like 10 hours a month, and they use them, because you think you won't, but you will. I mean, you know, you need guidance. Now, the one thing is, we're building on the WordPress content management system, which is very, very popular. And you can go on to YouTube and do a search for how do I do this in WordPress, and you find the answer. That may, sometimes you may have to decipher it, but nevertheless, it's there.
So what about if we get going along and after the first year and we're not needing to use that, could we lower down this?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
You can. Now, the 190 a month, that's the minimum.
that's firm, yeah, okay,
That's the minimum.
all right,
And trust me, let me give you an example. There was a county that said, we don't need that minimum, okay? And we told them, okay, you do, but you don't think you do. And they called us up, some outfit in East Europe. Now, this has been years ago, that's before Ukraine, but there's somebody in East Europe hacked their site. And when you pulled up their county site, it was very inappropriate. Okay? They did not have a support agreement. And we told them, said, we'll get to you when we get to you, you know. And thankfully, it was only like a day or so when we finally got to it and got that. But we asked them, said, well, what about your backup? You know, I mean, you're backing up your own site, right? Well, yeah, aren't we, John? Yeah, John, Mary's been doing it. They had been backing their site up. So we went back in our archives, found a copy of the site, but it'd been 6 months of data had been lost out of it. So don't do that. I mean, if you're my brother, I wouldn't give you the option. I'd say no.
yeah, right.
You know,
right.
let us back it up every day.
As far as hosting, now these numbers for us hosting everything, right?
No, either way. I mean, I think your staff said, no, we want to host it.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that. I recommend you have a backup. I mean, you have a copy of it on your data center. But our data center is built for hosting websites. It's 2 of everything. There's 2 content managers, there's 2, everything is backed up. We got a generator that call Madison County, ask them how many times you've been down in the last 18 years. You know how many times? Tell them? 0. Ask them in Katrina, were you down during Katrina? No, they weren't.
Well, generally, I imagine we're doing it not only just for security, but probably for costs too. We have a bunch of data.
We don't charge them.
Okay. Right.
Can't beat that cost, I don't think. Because really, quite frankly, and if your IT people say, no, we don't want them to host it,
Right.
then aye, sir, we'll do what you say do.
Yeah.
You know?
But there's still some aspects of it we'll be hosting, but we could point to your site.
Yes. Yeah, there will be parts.
Like, I mean, we're reading a lot of data off tags and that kind of stuff.
Right.
There's no way, so all that will be staying here.
That's right.
Also, we have a lot, like, central plan development. I don't know how you do with Madison, but they host, a lot of the maps and everything over there.
And we'd
So-
leave that just the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Same with the Chancery Clerk's records and so forth like
Right.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna point it the same way you're doing it right now.
Okay.
Until you get to that point where you say, we're ready to move to the next level.
Yeah,
And then we'll move with you,
all right,
like Madison County has.
okay. Will Skane,
Actually hit my main one was really around the hosting. I'm extremely new, so this is the first time I'm seeing this. So,
yeah,
may have a couple other questions that'll pop up.
Oh, sure.
as I kind of dig in a little bit.
Sure. And if, once again, it doesn't add $1 to my pocket either way. If you
Yeah.
wanna host it, go for it,
so
But,
you guys will do obviously, what about pictures? Do we supply the pictures or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if we want a movie or however we want our front page to be, or any page for that matter,
Billboards,
we provide that, yes.
yes.
Okay.
you
Link it
provide-
to the billboard.
We're not photographers.
To upload all the
All
time.
right. You have, someone you use?
Yes, I'm sure we do.
Okay.
I personally don't know them, but
Yeah, I got you. All right.
Get it going. What I say.
Well, I think Wilt's just got on. We're gonna let him get his feet wet.
Bob Morrow came in and said the first day of his term,
Yeah.
he said we need to work on the
And he
website.
gone, yeah.
So somebody needs to call him directly and say, we met on the, we can fix it.
Yeah.
We met on the website
We're
today.
working in that
That long
direction.
down the line, that's how long it takes.
Yeah. So don't worry, Brad got here. He's taking
Brad
care of
Brad
business.
took care of it. Bob couldn't
Yeah.
get it done. Brad got that website going, so I'm gonna tell him.
You got any questions?
Yeah, no, I got a meeting that's already started, another one.
Okay.
And then I got another one at 2:30. I got,
If you just stay right here, you're gonna miss the one at 2:32.
yeah, just keep going. I'll miss
I think it's
both of them.
great. I like it. I mean, I'm on board whenever Jay's ready to pull the trigger.
Whenever, we decide to pull the trigger, how long will it take you to, I think it says something about 60 days,
65 business days.
you'll have us up and going.
Yes.
So you'll transfer everything, and so let me ask you this, I know a big issue that we had in the past is actually coming up and putting the information we want out there. Would y'all assist us with that? Is there a fee also?
No,
Additional fee?
every fee is right there in black and
That's
white.
it, huh?
No surprises. I mean, you know the number of days, you know the cost.
Well, hey, will you do this one thing for me though? Would you get kind of our contract together and go ahead and just lay it on Slay's desk so he can kind of review it? Is there not a
We don't have a
contract?
contract.
No agreement, no service agreement, no nothing to sign?
What you're
We
looking
just
at
go
is
word
easy.
for it?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, now, there's some like, finance administration, there's some departments or whatever that insist.
Well, I know Slay's gonna want some paperwork, I'm sure, more than this one page. He didn't do anything in one page. I think he charges by the page, so.
Pretty streamlined.
It's,
And it's not, that I don't see any provisions or terms here, Daniel, that give me any hesitation
All right.
about it. If y'all are comfortable with the pricing as quoted and the deliveries that have
I'll
been
let you work that out.
indicated here, I don't have an issue.
Well,
Yeah, I want our IT guy to bless it. I mean, if,
yeah, I want him to
Yeah.
as well. I
We just
want
got
him
here,
to.
let him look around a little bit, and,
There may be another, I'm not gonna offend Mr. Crawford, but there may be another vendor that you guys want to have a discussion with as an alternative.
Check it out.
Yeah. So,
It tickled me pink because it makes me look better.
yeah. So I didn't want to indicate that I was prepared to tell y'all to go on and sign this. I'm
Yeah.
saying I don't have a legal reason or objection to this proposal.
10-4.
if y'all are ready to move forward, this proposal is acceptable from a
Well,
legal
we're working in the right direction. Hey, and I'm so sorry to keep you held over like this.
I do this all the time, so I've been in.
We're usually not this long, or normally it doesn't go this crazy.
I've been in 100 board meetings, so I
Alright,
can't
man.
believe. But I do want your IT, person, I want him to bless it, I want him to be happy with
Oh,
it.
yeah, I just opened this up.
All right.
You got my contact information. You keep this too. If
I had
you
one
guys
start
have any
with-
questions,
All
holler.
right.
I got another one start for 2:30.
Anything
All
else?
right. Never mind.
What? All right. Hey, thank you, but hey, again, I definitely apologize to you, Mr. David. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, Wills,
Um,
come here for a second.
Mr. Harris, it's your birthday, so we'll call you up twice, one more time. What you got?
Oh, yeah,
We're still under additional business, so
Man, I want to show you something.
go ahead, Mr. Harris.
So, very important thing we gotta talk about.
All right.
We, at this time, we do not have a commodity bid for our asphalt. All our contractors
Hey,
have
hang
pulled
on one
out.
second. Bishop's got to hear this. Hang on.
He can't do it. Yeah, but he can't.
He can't do it either.
Neither one of them can.
Neither of them can do it. So, as soon as I get Jay to wink at me, we're in. We're in.
All right.
So basically, what we've got, we sent out a letter the other day. We got a notification from one of our contractors on a commodity bid. So we sent out an email to all our commodity bids on asphalt, and everybody has sent back a letter saying they cannot honor the contract that we have in place.
I thought you told me that he was gonna do a couple.
We're gonna be able to do a couple roads between now and the 1st of July. That's
Ralph
it.
is gonna pick up a couple of AJ's roads that he's not doing.
Right. AJ's honoring all the POs he had out. Ralph's gonna pick up a couple roads that we had lingering. We got a lot more than that, but what I need to do is make, we're gonna have to make a motion to go from the 1st to the 2nd. Am I right, Craig?
Hey, but first off, just for the record, people listening at home and in foreign places, explain to them why.
Well, just cost of fuel, cost of aggregate, everything has just doubled and tripled in the world today. And, I'll get into some more of this once we do this part, but it's just,
They can't honor their current bids
they can't honor their current bids because of the cost
because
of
of prices.
November of 2020.
2022.
Correct. Before all, what really got out of whack.
Before the economy went completely into the toilet. The price of fuel, which is the primary input on asphalt,
Petroleum product.
yeah, has more than doubled. So, we're asking our commodity vendors essentially to bankrupt themselves by agreeing to continue along a process that requires them to honor a November 2021 price for those materials.
So I would like to add, Mr. President, that we go from our first commodity bid to our second commodity bid. I hope I'm saying this right. For asphalt, for 3 roads. I can list those roads if we need them listed. You wanna list them, Craig?
Yeah.
It'd be Mill Creek, Burnham, and Old Brandon Road. That'll be the only 3 roads we'll be able to pave, and they'll be awarded to Ag Camp. To be done the next.
District 3.
None in District 3, no, sir.
How about you, Steve?
I don't think
None in
so.
District 4 either.
What was the name of 3 roads?
Mill Creek, Burnham Road, and Old Brandon.
We can't.
I think it's awesome he's stepping up to do those, so I don't really, he's hurting himself financially by doing it.
Well, he
Here's
got-
the one thing on the Mill Creek. He
Yeah.
put that bid in November,
Yeah,
December. So we're just now getting there. That was the closeout deal there. So Ralph's stepping up and honoring what he agreed to back in November. That we've
Oh, this
already,
is
we've already
the
approved.
old one.
We've already approved.
Well, he's honoring on the new price now.
Yeah.
Not on the old price. He denied the
under
old
his
price.
bid, under his second bid.
Right.
Yeah.
He canceled one PO, but we're gonna open another one.
okay.
And that'll be it. That'll be all the asphalt we'll be able
All
to
right, we can make that
contract.
motion.
We make it,
I'll
add it to the
make a motion
agenda.
add
And
these
you're gonna have-
items.
Make a motion to add these items to the agenda by Mr. Bishop,
Second.
second by Mr. Gaines. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with a like sign.
So I make a motion to award, since our first contractor is turned back in, his other, are not willing to live up to the bid, we'll allow our second bidder to award these three projects, Mill Creek, Burnham Road, and Old Brandon Road.
And to issue purchase orders on the second load for asphalt for those 3 roads.
Okay.
And then that will be it, no more.
And then we're gonna have to go into
We'll
another
do
plan
something else.
to figure out.
All right,
Figure
I
go
make
into
that
that.
for a
All right,
motion.
that's a formal motion by Mr. Bishop, second by myself.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign.
Okay, so the backup plan is, and I
Well,
think,
let's wait till Jared's here, man, so we can go through all this. You mind? I mean,
Well,
is anything?
is he gonna hang, it's gonna hang you up?
well, we got to move forward on a couple of things, cause I got to get advertisement on it. I mean, the backup plan is, I mean, our emulsion people and our micro people are able to hold their prices. All I wanna do is push forward with pavement preservation for the rest of the year. And then, 'cause I think it'd be the best steward for the money that
Since
we
we don't have an
got.
asphalt bid.
Right.
We don't have an asphalt bid.
So you saying move on with.
I just
what we
wanna
got?
take the rest of our remainder budget and our rescue money and put in the pavement preservation side of Civil Link right
Oh,
now.
hang on. Don't
When
do
he says
money.
rescue money, he's talking about the
I'm not talking-
losses
The
from your initial
500 or
tranche.
600,000.
That was your
Right.
1.9 million
No,
in
I wanna hang
losses.
on. Why do that? Well, I'd rather put in asphalt. You talking about the $3 million?
No, it's, what?
It's about,
2.9.
1.6.
2.9.
about 600,000
Which-
apiece.
yeah.
It's 580 apiece. I already had it figured in your budget.
I'd rather put it in asphalt.
You can't.
already getting
Where
it.
you getting
You
that
already
from?
getting it on
You
Old
already
Brandon
getting
Road.
We gonna bid them out. I mean, that's gonna be the next one.
No, you're not talking about for right now.
No,
Oh, I thought he was talking about from now to the end of the year.
no.
What he was.
Yeah, I'm saying I'd rather take that money and put in asphalt than I had put it all in microseal. You talking about the money would split 5 ways, we point 600,000.
I already
Like,
had
I
this.
thought some of Steve was gonna take that and put on Stoll Road.
I wanna do whatever that plan.
I had you in the plan, Jay, I've
Yeah.
had you 580 figured in everything we're doing this year anyway. I'm just letting you know, we're just pushing everything into pavement preservation. Where we was going, I was gonna say it, you're getting your roads asphalted that you had figured to be asphalted in your area. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's going toward these right here. Okay, all right, okay. So
So
the
you-
one,
You're
the
gonna kick
Burn
me.
Road and,
Yeah, you gonna-
Old Brandon is part of the 5, okay.
Yes.
all right.
That's what.
I'm just taking the rest of
Yeah.
the money and putting in pavement preservation
Alright. Well,
according
you just
to,
told me that.
That's
according to according to the
Hey,
Civil Link
this
plan.
This is my fault. I've kept Bishop in here till 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be the best steward for our money the way, I mean, cause asphalt bids right now is gonna be somewhere double what we at. We're at 86 and they probably be 150 right now to 160 a ton.
So the
That's what
point of
we'd
this
be looking
is,
at.
we're gonna come right back, once we get control of it, and then get back into the asphalt business at that point.
Yes, we're gonna look at it. We're
Now,
gonna,
I do wanna make one thing to.
We're just
if
trying
we
to
do
push
have
down
some
our-
kind- And look, this is for roads, I guess, no asphalt, no paving, new stuff necessarily, or just, that was in the plan. But if we have some kind of, patching or stuff like that, we'll still maintain, right? I mean, as best we can. Where you got stuff tear up,
Level up the
we're still
road.
gonna maintain and everything, and I'm coming with that just a second. Basically what we're gonna do is, where we had roads that was falling in 4 or less, we're gonna put them off for 6 months right now, and we're gonna take care of the roads that just need maintaining. Cause we have a commodity bid for that, and it's at a good price right now, and nobody's lifted their price on that, and they've said they're gonna honor that for the rest of the year, so that's the focus we wanted to go down.
Can we get that started so we don't have?
We're already started
Well,
today, Brad.
When is, heck, Jonathan, when will they be here?
They're already here.
They're here. When
They're
they
actually-
start, then it's,
They started last week.
okay.
They started last week.
Well, I thought it was
and-
more then.
and we're gonna-
Whenever we do the old mat and seal, chip seal,
Mhm.
I sure like that fog, whatever that is you put on it.
That
We
extra-
either,
Even- It may be a
we
week later or something.
either gonna treat it with fog, Mr. Steve, or we're gonna either treat it with a micro. Just depends on what kind of treatment
Yeah,
it calls for.
whatever, we did it,
Yes, sir.
the very first one we did, heck, Le Bourgeois,
We done Le Bourgeois 6 years ago.
right, 6 years, and
It's still holding up.
we,
Has it been 6?
we got some places that we need to fix some veins that's
Fantastic.
starting to open up.
That's right.
Yeah, and you was in there and out of there in a week, I mean.
This is gonna stretch our dollars a lot
yeah,
further,
And it looked good.
and we're just gonna cover a lot of ground this summer, more than we anticipated
Yeah.
this way.
Well, I
So,
was Steve though, that fog makes it look a lot better.
it does.
And right, I mean, you don't have the little rocks.
Yeah.
So you want,
Right.
you want a motion on that to do that?
We don't have to do anything.
No, I think
I
we're
think
good.
as
They've
long as
already
the board
authorized the revenue loss piece of this. And you've already got the budget established.
Did we vote?
So.
You don't vote on it.
Did we
what
vote?
You
Larry?
don't need to vote.
We made,
Yeah, we did.
we
Okay,
did.
I'm just asking.
I thought we
We
did.
I'm
did.
kinda delirious.
On what he asked
But we don't
about.
have to vote on amending.
Janet got me messed up when she wouldn't bring in the right.
I just
public
want y'all to all be in agreement. That's the way we're gonna go for the rest of the year, because we don't have a commodity bid. We're gonna bid
Hey,
them
and we're
out
talking about the rest of the fiscal year.
rest of the physical year. So
And then we gonna come
now,
up with a plan on how to do the rest.
so here's,
It's only about 3
here's,
months.
here's two things, here's two
Next
things I need done. I need to add a.
Just because it's your birthday is the only reason we're going to do
I
this.
know.
Come on.
I
What
need
you
to
got?
add a seal crack contract to my commodity bids, advertisement for that. I've talked to Bridget on all this, and I need to add I'm gonna call it asphalt in place. Is that right, Tim?
Installation.
Just an installation of asphalt. We'll
To bid
FOB,
out. All right,
the contractor pick it up under our FOB and do the installation.
all right.
Save us money.
Board, so this is to add it to the agenda by Mr. Gaines.
Second.
Second by Mr.
So I
Calhoun.
need
Any
to ask
fur-
for advertisement for both of those.
What is this we're doing?
We're adding it to the agenda.
I
though.
know, but what is it? A seal crack? We're gonna
The
do-
seal
We're
cracks.
gonna do a commodity bid. We're advertising for a commodity bid for that and for the other?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
This'll get us, if we get in the road tore up or something, this'll get us out of a bind if we
Yeah,
get.
but, all right.
Like that Le Bourgeois.
All right, so got a motion by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Calhoun to add it to the agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. So motion approved by Mr. Gaines,
And that'll be
second by
for,
Mr. Calhoun.
that'll be for a 6-month contract.
Okay, 6-month contract. You go with that, Gaines?
Yeah.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. All right.
Thank y'all.
We'll
That's
be
all
a
I got.
month before we get to do it, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Slay, you good? Hicks,
All right, we done? Can
good?
we leave?
I got, with the rest of those.
Hang
I
on.
know.
Hey, Keith, what do you need? You don't have something wording the right way? Why you got us here?
Do we need to adjourn?
Hang on a sec. Keith's hung up.
This, I'm gonna be very high level with you guys. This really should be an executive. It has to do with your surplus property. So,
You need
You
a
wanna
motion
go?
to go back into
Yeah.
executive?
I make a motion that we go into executive session for the
Oh,
purpose
yeah.
of legal
And we gotta do this now?
this is property acquisition and disposition. I need direction because we need to get the process of selling that property going.
Alright, I made the motion.
All right, so motion to go into executive
Second.
session by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Calhoun. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. So this is purpose of litigation.
It's actually
Property acquisition.
distribution, acquisition.
Hey, brother.
Y'all hang around, word.
I don't
Hey,
have to leave. Nobody has to leave.
if somebody
Y'all good?
call.
All right, motion to go into executive
I'll make
session
a
by
motion.
Mr. Calhoun, second by Mr. Bishop.
Yeah.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.